to build Hand of Midas and Faceless Void in certain situations. And then he went straight into BKB because he needed something to defend himself.
I guess it's just like, it doesn't matter, it's banned. Point is, cool, Rubik Brew, Phoenix Pango, both squads kind of emphasizing their ability to take team fights in the mid game, specifically around choke points. I think that Brewmaster versus Pango is a bit odd. I just haven't seen much Brew in the games that I've commentated on, and in addition, the hero has always been a bit weird. It's definitely something that increases in effectiveness the better the team is. So you typically never really see it in Tier 2, Tier 3 Dota. But then there's players from Lacoste's age, like the S4s and Puppies of the world, that find a way to make it effective.
We've seen it 9 times throughout the tournament in total, though, in terms of picks and in-game. So at least at this stage, we've seen a lot of it. It's been kind of common.
Is it good, though?
55%, so it depends how you
Not
look
too
at
bad.
that.
Can we just say the record? It's 5-4. 50. That's like when Ice got 100% win rate over 2 games.
That makes it look really good, see?
Yeah, but it's just 2-0. It's just those are the stats. Otherwise, we
back to the Brewmaster. Like, he received buff. I didn't think it was that much of a deal, like besides other buffs, but that you can actually use the spell Invisibility and Cyclone. You had very limited mana on that Storm Panda, and it also blocks a couple of picks that Cyber Legacy loves to play, like playing him against Necro. So you have a Dispel. Not many heroes in Dota have Dispel right now. Like, you have Shadow Demon, Enchantress. Enchantress is popular. I think Shadow Demon is a sleeper hero at the moment. Like, none of these teams are playing it, but still definitely a strong hero.
It denies Terrorblade as well,
Yeah.
because you just clear through the illusions. You could make the same argument about PL, but I don't really think it functions the same way. PL just gets an army up too quickly. They go for the Disruptor. It's nice to have just some sort of method of killing Brew pre-split, having some kind of threat, because just a glimpse back kind of either forces split, or Brew is now afraid, might end up dying, makes him have to go for an earlier BKB than he might like instead of maxing out on all the auras.
It's such a good Disruptor pick. Like, against the Brewmaster, you have enough to lock him down with the Silence and the long-range canceling spell against the Bane's Grip that you always need to have. I personally like Jakiro as an answer to Bane, where you just use an Ice Path low cooldown spell to cancel it, but Glimpse is going to do the same thing.
Yeah, Jug makes sense. Not really threatened by either of these supports. Built-in BKB, and should lane pretty okay against the Pango. And when you've got a Rubik and a Bane as your support duo, kind of need something that's willing to like actually run into an engagement, not play on the sides. One of the old school combinations with Brew as well. Take an early game, team fight, pop the ward, pop the split, kill a tower. So you're going to look to see Omegalil try and take tempo early, and immediately a Morphling, one of the hardest counters to Jug in terms of a carry versus carry matchup, and it also kind of guarantees Cyber Legacy will have this late game. I think you just ban out Mag now just to prevent any easy steroid for the Jug that would amplify his timing. And you just cruise. I really like Cyber Legacy right now.
Yeah, because of the Morphling, I was thinking about what they could pick, but you were talking way too much. Morphling seems like a great idea. Like, they have only Bane who can kind of surprise him, maybe live, but he should be able to get the Morph off every single time. Sounds good. Like, it looks like a very good Morphling game. You want to have a playmaking mid that builds into Orchid or has a built-in silence against the Morph.
Just want to clarify for the record, notice how he's agreed with everything I've said thus far. That's all.
What did I do?
Nothing. What?
No, I really didn't hear what you said.
Oh, that's fine. Banks did. You heard, right?
Yeah.
Back to you,
The
James.
stream knows.
Everyone knows. Poor Lacoste is a bit unaware at the moment.
Players.
I hope it was something positive.
Of course. You're doing a great job.
It
Thank you.
depends how you look at it, whether it's positive or not, Lacoste. Because he's saying you're agreeing with everything he says, and
Don't tell
sometimes
him.
That's not a great thing. He has to know. I'm being fair. I'm neutral, Carl. Come on.
Positive is the most negative word of 2020 so far.
That just hit. Yep, great. Oh, dear. In so many ways. So many ways.
They banned out the Lina, and it looks like the Kunkka. Wait.
What would you look for a Omegalil
Oh
to
my
have
god,
it?
I keep getting thrown off by the second final ban.
Yeah, the things changed the last time.
Yeah, I know,
we were
but
reading patch notes.
So here's the thing. They've tweaked the number of first bans,
Yep.
and we've tweaked the order of bans, and we've
Yep.
tweaked the numbers per phase.
So you go
But we
with
just
the
straight
logo.
up added one to the last pick. That is so wild to me. I don't know if I like this. Because that's why the drafts also feel so damn long.
Yeah.
We've got so many bans.
We've been having this discussion. Where have you been?
How many days have you been working so far?
A few.
Like
Dude,
7?
this is the
He's actually
first
been here
day-
for a few.
I finally got sleep, okay? I feel like I'm alive for the first time in a
Because
while.
there was a whole segment where poor Carl, admittedly, he'd been up since 9 a.m. because of construction, maybe even earlier than that. He was literally the end of your tether, weren't you? It was like 2 in the morning, final game, trying to stay awake, and he's just like, it's just 1 minute you're sat there and you're like, I actually don't know what I've got to say at this point.
Yeah.
That never happens to Carl. Carl normally
Never.
has all the words.
I can.
He always has something that he
Something,
can insult
yeah.
people with. Yeah, that's why I love him. Like, but sometimes he's just holding it off. He's gonna say it off stream.
Yeah. No, it's just really, it's strange and a little tedious, these last 2 bans, just because it's just odd. Because I don't know if it's necessary, really. Like, does it add much more depth knowing you're going into the last pick with this? We'll see. I just think that it's going to put more emphasis on teams leaving their drafts open in terms of what roles are available for them for the final pick. Because if you go in, you're kind of telegraphing, okay, we need a mid-hero, then it makes it a lot easier to target bans. It's also part of the reason I think we see so much Venomancer and so much Batrider, because no matter what, in your final, if you have 4, like, they can go to the mid, you can go offlane, you can pretty much put it where you need, and yeah, you get it.
It's all about flexing when it comes to this.
Really good ban on the Kunkka and the Void Spirit specifically coming out from Omegalil. I think that they're afraid. They obviously respect those heroes. They're 2 of Sunlight's best, specifically the Void Spirit, and you want to make sure Cyber Legacy can't pick one up. Specifically Void Spirit, I don't actually know how you deal with him. Like, you can't kill him unless you grip him. And, Furion.
I expected something different. Like, they don't have an ability that goes through magic immunity. They can't stop Jug from just, split pushing. He will feel threatened once Morphling gets Ethereal Blade, so, he needs to be ready with that spin and be ready with the fingers against the fast Static Storm.
I think Cyber Legacy's got a sick draft, though. They just have so much more pressure. If you look at the raw damage output from just their spell casting, specifically in the early laning phase into mid-game, I just don't see how you fight into them. If you get roll-off, Fury and ult, you always have Disruptor Glimpse, and you're going to be able to take those towers early because you have creep. So if you lane the Furion against Jug plus Bane or Jug plus Rubik, like, that matchup is atrocious for Jug. You cannot really play that lane.
I mean, it's still a good Queen of Pain Storm game for Omegalil. Like, they have Static Storm, Glimpse, that's it, Nature's Prophet, and Morphling. They're pretty opened up. They can be played at either mid or safe lane, depending on the matchup. And Furion will get Orchid nevertheless. They can also swap things out. Have Pango on the mid, Nature's Prophet on the off lane. This is what you just talked about. Like, you don't shake the head. Like, don't disagree with me.
I'm disagreeing with you.
Storm gets picked. You were right, Lacoste.
Yeah, but did he want to be right?
Does it save him?
There's no creeps. There's really no tower pressure on the side of Omegalil. Your team fight's limited to a brew. And I just look at Cyber Legacy and I think, okay, they've got better catch, they've got better late game, they have better lanes, they have better tower taking, they have more raw damage, better team fight, better choke point and Roche control. What are you thinking, Cost?
I'm thinking it's a great Storm Spirit game. It definitely is, but if they're going to be going around as 5 units, like, who's going to kill the egg? They have Juggernaut, that's pretty much it. Other 4 heroes really don't excel at it, but still I favor Cyber Legacy's lineup.
My man. Pretty much say some BS.
Yeah.
Kyle was right.
He had to give the chance there to Omegalil in some way, Carl. They had to be given some hope.
I mean, maybe if Lil's waiting in the wings, he comes in as a mercenary for game 2 and 3. I think they've got a pretty good shot.
So what you're hoping, they lose the game 1, someone disconnects, they need to bring someone in. Lil, who's currently on vacation, just says, find a PC, I'm going to
Play from the
plug
beach.
in.
Satellite.
Yeah, play from the beach, Wi-Fi tethered from his phone, and he's just going to come in and rock it for him.
I think they just trapped themselves with the support duo specifically. You just look at on paper, what does a Rubik Bane bring to a team fight? What does Disruptor Phoenix? It's not even close.
Not even close. But you guys are very much on the Cyber Legacy side. Just on the Storm Spirit side of things, is it just on that, or is there another way you could see that they might have more of a chance?
Brewmaster is a hero that can do so much. Like you have a Cyclone, he's the one controlling the team fight. The only thing he needs to care about pretty much is Static Storm. So if they can play around it, they also have like a mini save in terms of Bane with the sleep. We saw how effective it was 2 days ago when he was playing against Necro. He saved him like 4 or 5 times. So like it sometimes comes down to that little play, which is actually pretty huge.
Well, let's see if Omegalil can beat the odds and beat you two on the panel who have gone for Cyber Legacy. We've got KP and Pycat to deliver us this. Hopefully, Pycat is in a Super Saiyan form, and KP will just have more planes flying by his head because he won't be leaving the UK anytime soon. Oh, I'm disappointed. There's nothing. There's nothing.
Nah,
Come on, production.
There
we go, Pycat.
Right? You got to build up into that form. Okay, yeah, he's going to imaginally build it, but by the end of the day, or the end of the series, we'll have it. And, well, Pycat, we had the opinion of the two on the panel, but in fairness, you've played at more TIs than both of them combined, so I want to hear your opinion. Are you on the Cyber Legacy bandwagon, or do you see Omegalil's potential?
What a nice way of putting it. I mean, I carried Lacoste to 2 TIs, right? So, I actually think I don't really mind the Omegalil draft that much. I think the players on the Cyber Legacy side are better, but I think they have a chance here. I really like the Storm last pick. I think it's a pretty free Storm game if it gets off to a decent start. The
battle begins.
Juggernaut pick, maybe not the greatest. He's a decent egg hitter, and I think they kind of just want to go with like the brew split and play around with the maybe healing ward, try to take some fights that way. I think if Storm gets off to a good start and gets the ball rolling, I think Omegalil could definitely take it. Otherwise, I'd be stupid to go against Kuman's Morphling.
I mean, that's true. And it feels like that's what we usually say when we see these Storm Spirits come out of the moment, right? Like, yeah, if he gets a pop and start, he can take over the game. And I kind of see where you come from this one, right? Because it's not just the Storm, but also the Brewmaster. We're talking a little bit halfway through the draft. It's like, Disrupt is good for the Brew, but it feels like if Sunlight's out of control, then there is too much pressure on Slayer and what he has to do individually in this game to, like, shut down multiple cores.
Yeah, I mean, Disruptor doesn't really shut down Storm like that way. If Storm gets off to a decent start, I mean, you kind of rely on the Storm fucking up, I guess. So.
Well, maybe they can force that. Because if there's one thing Cyber Legacy have, it is early pressure, right? They can shove these laners in, they can rotate for early towers, and that is what you want to see whenever you draft someone like a Morphling. Is 4 heroes that are able to do things in that first kind of 10-15 minute span of the game.
Yeah, they definitely have ways of playing the game before Morphling gets items. They have some nice tools. With the Pango, the Prophet's going to get early 6, so it's always going to be able to bounce around on the different lanes and help out. And he'll be able to support in and help out that way as well. They're going to be able to buy some time for Morphling almost no matter what, unless their lanes just go really horribly, which doesn't seem very likely.
And something you mentioned before we got passed over from the panel is Sunlight. He has actually started with Quelling Blade on the Storm Spirit. I'm guessing this is the concern about like Sprouts early on.
Yeah, probably is. I mean, to me it looks a little bit curious. Maybe you could just, buy an extra set of Tangos or something, but he opted for the Quelling Blade. We're gonna see if it... I mean, it's only 130 gold, but still, we're gonna see if it hurts him or not.
I guess he can always justify it to himself. Well, guys, come on. When I'm jungling, that's 6 extra damage in the clicks.
That's true. That's a very valid point there.
He's getting... You know what it is? Okay, he's getting the edge on these deny attempts that will come out from Magical whenever he tries to kill his streams.
Right. See,
said it before, right?
Yeah.
Innovation starts as stupidity and then becomes genius.
Right.
We haven't talked about the bot lane so far, by the way, which... Is anything going to happen here? I feel like this lane should just be a truce and no one's likely to die unless they really screw up.
Yeah, I don't feel like someone is very likely to die. I do think that the longer the lane goes, I feel like it should favor Bane and Juggernaut more. I mean, Bane is just a really strong support. When you get the Brain Sap level 2, you're able to trade very efficiently. I think Bane has some potential to die if he steps completely out of position and Pango goes in, but at that point you can just spin on the Pango, so we're probably not going to see that happen.
Yeah, usually a Pango prefers kind of a more passive start to the lane, right? Because your stats are pretty abysmal to start. You do scale well, at least, in terms of strength and agility.
Yeah, he'll get going. Like, he'll get the ball rolling eventually. But I do think that the jungler lane is kind of favored here, although it's completely even right now.
You know, on the mid lane, Sunlight's already been forced to do the walk back to base. So Magical, I mean, he is still behind on CS, and these denies are going to be skewed, of course, because of the treants that he's probably killed along the way. But forcing the Storm out and back that early, it's not too bad to start for Magical.
Yeah, at the same time, the level difference is very minimal at this point.
Sunlight's definitely getting the harassment back and forth at the moment. Difference is that he has a ball and the runes have just spawned. He will be very sad to realize there's a regen rune bot though.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. It's like a 50-50 and he gets the, maybe not the optimal rune, maybe DD is better, but almost optimal. As I mean, the Prophet could have just ported back to base and TP'd into the lane with a DD, but still.
That's true. It's more the denial factor right now. Storm has an empty bottle.
Yeah.
You know, Sunlight right now is probably mashing his keyboard with his fist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why has he got a support on the runes? Where's my supports? They're just chilling, bro.
Yeah, we see now the Juggernaut is starting to slightly pull ahead in his bottom lane. What's kind of surprising though is that the Brew is doing so well up top. I think it's mainly due to the fact that there's a Rubik versus a Disruptor, and Rubik is just so much stronger than Disruptor at this point of the game in terms of laning.
It's kind of funny how that came around, right? There's a point where these two kind of had the comparative role in the team, very strong at the lane phase, controlling it. And then it almost feels like the last half of the year saw the downfall of Disruptor, but Rubik's been more or less in a chill state. He hasn't been ruined as a hero.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Disruptor has, you know, he has this one nuke that you can't really control, like what creeps it hits or what it hits after the initial strike. And so with Rubik, you can just kind of push lanes and trade much more efficiently with the Fade Bolt. And that's why Disruptor is not at the same level as Rubik in terms of laning.
Yeah, and you have to have the additional aggression behind the Thunderstrike, right? Otherwise, say for example in this lane you would have Thunderstrike Brewmaster, he could just sit in the wave to have it push away from your tower. Then you have to come out and play. And when you come out and play, this is what happens. Slayer trapped inside. He's just about going to live with the Fairy Fire, but he's out of regen. He's going to have to do a Walk of Shame.
Yeah, I mean, you also always have the option of going to your range creep and just getting kind of a free deny on your range creep if you ever get Thunderstrike on you.
Yeah. That's something I think we like. There was kind of a phase where teams started doing that when Disruptor was like at his height of being picked. It's like, okay, this pick is going to always out harass us, but what we can do is force them to an uncomfortable position and near our tower. Warding attempt is going to be fought by Vampires. There were sentries down that got rid of that lane ward, so he won't be able to snipe out the courier. He won't know when Slayer's got regen coming in. It looks like he's not going to try and walk back or deny himself, though.
And now we see this, looking at this bottom lane, you can see now that the Juggernaut has almost twice the CS of the Penguin now, and almost, I think, 1k ahead in terms of gold.
Oh, there it is. First blood finally came out. Rotation, 4 heroes to the top lane from Cyber Legacy does get the kill onto Rubik. And Malik, he should be going down as well. It's going to be close, and the waveform through will secure it. Was getting a bit quiet, and finally things ramp up. And that's just Cyber Legacy giving a preview of like how quickly they can move around the map at this stage, right? Like, you can't match that on Omegalil until you've got at least level 2 ultimate on Sunlight.
Yeah, and although they get 2 kills there, I don't think that they're super concerned. Storm gets some free farm in the mid lane, Pango's left alone on the bottom lane, and it's going to be really difficult for him to kind of sit here. He might go down now.
Yeah, that's the... We've all been there as a Pango. You have that moment like, alright, I'm out. And then the carry continues pursuing. And when it's a carry like Juggernaut, all you have to do is eat a mango and press 1 button.
Yeah, and so they do get 2 kills top, but yeah, I feel like I'm not even sure if it's worth it when you're making a, like, it's a 2-man rotation up there. And yeah, you like, all you're doing is killing this Rubik and Brew. At the same time, Storm is free farming, Juggernaut is free farming, and these 2 heroes are just gonna come back to the lane. One thing they're doing that's kind of nice now, I feel like, is they're giving the mid lane to the Phoenix a little bit while the Prophet is jungling. And he's, like, regardless of where he's farming, he's ready to port into pretty much any lane and help out. And this also lets the Phoenix get 6 a lot faster.
That's true. I think the other like interesting thing when you compare like the state of this game level-wise is when you talk about Omegalil against this type of draft, it feels like you want items as well as levels. Whereas the Brewmaster, after that gang top, his feeling is probably, it's okay, I'm still getting XP, and really all I need to function in this game is XP. This time they won't be able to find him. They might be able to get Vampire though, as Kuman changes into the Rubik. But the bigger kill is not achieved, and once again, this is time spent by the Nature's Prophet to gang, while Storm's.pro, he's just getting past that hard hump, right, towards that level 2 ult and his first big item, which will be the Orchid.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if like Brew is happy or okay with being that sacked. It looks like he's gonna queue up. It looks like he's gonna queue up an Urn, maybe go into a Vessel to kind of play against the Morph that way. I'm not sure. It kind of feels like maybe you'd want a Blink Dagger in this game, so you're able to kind of go on the supports or Prophet, but maybe he's just gonna play the kind of the support-ish aura type of Brew and let Storm do the initiate it.
Yeah, maybe his thought process is, you know, I could get a Blink, I could get him, but if Disruptor has Static Storm, that's an instacast spell, and I have this animation with my ultimate. It's not the easiest game to get Primal Splits down inherently, and as you said, they definitely need a Spirit Vessel, and there's not really anyone else on this team on Omegalil that can build it.
Yeah. This is going to be a nice rotation. If Bane manages to sneak up here without getting noticed, he's going to be like 1 creep off of getting 6, and he could just kind of go in for a grip on the Morphling.
He's trying to dangle out of vision here. They're not wise to this at all. Like, all they know, Bane's still dangling himself around Kellen in the bot lane, but here they go. They go in. Nightmare's going to be there, moving in onto Kuman. Raffinade's doing a lot of damage and brought down half HP already. The Fiend Script does get cancelled out, but Kuman has no way out as he'd already used that waveform. Movement forward on Slayer. Won't be able to get the kill though. They needed one more spell and Sunlight had it on cooldown.
Yeah, that's a very good kill to get right now. Just killing the Morph.
Response though, like he's immediately pressuring mid with Catapult coming in as well.
Yeah, and it's a little bit curious that Juggernaut doesn't have a Quelling Blade yet. I feel like, I mean, in general, you always want a Quelling Blade as a carry. He has this extra circlet that could just maybe be a Quelling Blade instead, especially going up against the Prophet.
The Sunlight and Kellen, what they were playing opposite the opposing heroes here.
Yeah, that might be.
Has his Quelling Blade.
That might be the thing here. Yeah, he could just maybe he could just give his Quelling Blade to the Jug and be like, here, buddy.
Let's not go back to those days. I remember recently when we had that with the Ring of Healths.
Right.
But we're just being passed over. That was.
Yeah, and you could also, I mean, you could also just buy your teammates like a flask, like a healing salve, and tangos and stuff. Back in the day.
I mean, sure. You like you can pseudo do that, right? You can share tangos and you can walk around holding the salves, but no longer we got.
But you could buy it to someone else
for our lord sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So Storm is gonna have a very early Orchids here. It's already finished actually, and this could be coming as a quite a surprise, I think, to Cyber Legacy here.
Still like 400 gold off, so it's not too far off, but not there yet. And that Static Storm is quite the whiff. Kellen's probably confused what they were trying to achieve with that. Omni Slash, they tank it together, but it bounces straight back to Disruptor.
Yeah, and if Sunlight sees Kuman here, he gets
Malik goes in, they force out the egg, and Jug can just right-click this down because the disarm's off the mark from Blizzy. Spin comes out from Kellen, so he's not even threatened by Blizzy, and now Vampire with the Storm Roll Thunder coming through on top of the Nature's Prophet, controlling them up. Gets the kill on a Magical. Blizzy needs to be careful himself, gets stunned and Fiend Script straight away. So he'll also die. Not only do they lose 4 heroes, but now they're going to lose that tower.
Yeah, very nice fight coming out of Omegalil. I get so confused by looking at the fact that they have so many different the what's it called?
You got like Gambit, and then you got Malik with no title at all, and now you're Bignum with another death.
Yeah. Anyways, nice fight coming out of Omegalil with the stolen Rolling Thunder by the excess Vampire. And at the same time that was happening, we initially Sunlight was initiating on Kuman with the Orchids, but he got the attribute shift off, so unable to kill him. But yeah, Storm is definitely off to a very good start in this game, and things are not looking super hot for man, why am I blanking? Why is this so hard? Cyber Legacy.
There you go. They have changed their emblem a bit. They didn't have the outer circle before. I don't know why they thought that was
Yeah.
fancily necessary.
There's gonna be Orchids coming out on the Nature's Prophet right now as well, so Storm's not gonna have as easy of a time playing this game anymore, and it might come as a surprise. They might be running into Cyber Legacy right now, if they're unfortunate.
They are smoked up. The Dyrara will be the ones leading the way, so if anything, he'd probably tank Dank.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do
good
get a
luck.
nice ward out.
Yeah, I think they just got eyes on Magicals, so they know about the Orchids. They're going to back up for the moment, then they might just turn around to Blizzy the moment he shows in lane. There it is. Martin. I think Nature's Prophet's going to be glad he didn't TP on top of Malik, because that could have been him dying. Blizzy will go down instead. The Roll Thunder through from Vampire. Glimpse back. Looks like he should be going down. He gets fast up, so he can't even throw out the Fade Bolt onto Magical. 1-on-1 exchange, but the difference is that in the midst of all this fighting, the only person not participating is Kellen in the top lane, who's been pushing into this tip.
Yeah, and he's gonna be very close to his Manta, so at that point, he won't really have to worry about the Orchids on the Nature's Prophet anymore. He's able to dodge some of the Morphling spells, potentially dodge the Glimpse of the Disruptor, if you time it well. A nice item pickup by the Jug. And I'm curious if he decides to go for something along the lines of a Diffusal, or if he's going to go back to some sort of Battle Fury, because I don't necessarily feel that he has to be a very hard carry this game, as he has the Storm on his team. And now Storm might not be your traditional kind of right-clicking carry, but it is a mid-hero that scales very well. So he doesn't have to be as concerned with scaling well.
That's fair. Maybe like Kellen, he should just be prioritizing kind of a mid-game peak timing. Like you just go for the win instead of...
Yeah, and he's gonna go for the Diffusal. And I really like this. This is one way to play the Juggernaut versus Morphling matchup if you have some sort of secondary hero on your team, or some other hero like with some scalability, because when you play this Jug with early Manta Diffusal, it becomes very difficult for Morphling to play the game. Morphling hates playing against any sort of mana burn, as he relies so much on his waveform and other spells to be able to play.
That's true, and it's not hard to get good Fiend's Grips in this game, right? Like, when you look at the Heroes of Cyber Legacy, 2-3 seconds might be enough time to burn the entire mana pool of Kuman. So even if you cancel the Fiend's Grip halfway through, the objective's already been accomplished, because Kuman, all he can do is right-click in the fight at that stage.
Yeah, and then you've already accomplished what you want, so... Yeah, and we're gonna see him. He is going back for the Quelling Blade right now. He's getting it sent out, so...
There we go.
About time.
I don't like this fight out. This doesn't seem very efficient to me. All right,
No.
15 minutes in.
50, you know, it's
Think about all the extra
it's never
damage
too
on
late.
creeps.
It's never too late to buy a Quelling Blade.
That is true, but it could have been much earlier. Are you like trying to roughly map up how many extra creeps you could have killed in 15 minutes with a Quelling Blade?
No, I'm not.
I'm glad. I don't think that's some sort of math situation you want to try and figure out. It's like, well, who else is farming in the area?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go and say he's missed out.
I'm
on
sure
9
someone is trying to do the math. You know, it's like Juggernaut.
Well,
I mean, okay, so this is like a university level math problem or something, right? It's like Juggernaut has a base attack time of X, and it scales linearly, you know, so he gets faster and he attacks every. And yeah, I'm sure you could do the math if you want.
I think between the 15k MMR brains of our Twitch chat and maybe like if we bring in Nahaz and Knoxville as well, we can figure this out.
Right, yes.
And then we'll send a very well-written DM to Kellen.
This
Dear
sounds
sir.
like a very reasonable thing to do.
Yeah,
with your
dear
time.
sir. It begins with dear sir, all right? It's polite. We're always polite.
Right.
I think you should have started with a Quelling Blade.
Yours
I'm not-
truly, Twitch chat.
I mean, well done. I thought maybe it was going to be something like your playable, something along the way.
Ah,
So I'm
oh,
glad we
shit.
kept it clean.
Yeah. Nah, man. We're not about that.
I mean, you know, it's okay as long as you say you pleb in the right tone. I don't know how you
Okay.
say it in the right tone in a written message, though.
I see.
I do know how to.
I feel like you're doing a good
job.
job casting, though.
Oh, thank you. No.
You pleb.
Oh, wow. See, he gets it. Well, you know what? You're doing a pretty good job yourself.
Come on.
From pro player
You can't just-
to
you can't
casting
just-
pleb. You know, you.
No. Don't do this to me, man.
Hey, I didn't put pleb next to the player. You should be grateful.
Okay. Fair.
Like, what's your problem here? I bigged
I'll
you up
take
at
it.
the
No,
start.
it's
Like, this
okay.
guy
I'll
has
take it.
got
I'll take
more
it. All right.
TI participation
Yeah,
than the
yeah,
panel
yeah.
combined.
Okay,
That's
fair
some
enough.
that's some power play.
Fair enough. It's all
Yeah, my gift horse in the mouth. All right. Looks like we're done staring at the playground and the game is paused. Did you find all the heroes, by the way?
No, I actually wasn't looking because the thing, what I found out was that the people in the chat, they can't see this anyways.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
man.
they can't see it, so there's no point.
Sorry, I never look at Twitch chat. I try and avoid the mean things.
Ah,
They're not always mean, but whenever I look, there's something.
right.
It breaks your heart. They're probably saying nice things about you. They do make it easy for you, though. They keep giving you that, Super Saiyan hat.
Right, I know, right? It like the
It's like they're setting you up for success here. God damn.
yeah.
All I've
making
got
my
is
job
Brexit
easy.
planes in the background.
Yep.
Which
So we're
will
gonna
not even
see
make any
a
sense.
haste rune. Maybe they're gonna give it. Yeah, looks like they're just gonna give it to the storm, and he's going for the orchids, and it's just a nice pickup against the orchids of Nature's Prophet and potentially the disruptor, the static storm. Most likely he's gonna be going into. I don't know if he actually needs to go Bloodstone here. Yeah, he might still.
He's probably feeling a bit greedy. Hey, full lining in, but looks like he morphed up, so that's going to be an abort on the Kuman kill. They are pinging out the wards pretty accurate as well.
Yeah, and what I feel like what Omegalil kind of want to do now, yeah, we see the kind of the circle drawn there by the Juggernaut. They want to take over this area, and yeah, they want to control this top area of the map so that they can eventually kind of gain control, like first gain control of this area so that they can play there, and then maybe take out the tier 2 or just attack the tier 2 and then somehow make their way towards Roche.
Well, it feels like they've been dangling this lad for a while here, but they didn't get there quick enough to assist him. Malik gets brought down with the rotation from Cyber Legacy and Vampire. Is there anything you can do, Blizzy? I can do better. Rolls away.
Yeah, that's twice now with the stolen roly-poly.
It's not too hard to steal, but it's good that he's actually been patient with the steals.
I feel like if you're mindful as a Pango, I feel like it should be pretty difficult. You can kind of just
roll
cast
and
your shield
straight away.
crash. Yeah,
And then she'll crash. So far, I mean, did he have it leveled? I think he did have it leveled up earlier because he's only got 1 point so far. I'm pretty sure he had 1 point by about level 7. So yeah, it seems a bit odd that Blizz has been caught out multiple times with that now.
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
We've all been there, right? You know when you're kind of like in the zone and you don't feel like you've seen the Rubik too much. And you're like, I didn't realize there's a Rubik in this game.
Yeah, but twice you didn't realize there was a Rubik in the game? I mean, like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, yeah.
All right, maybe if it's just far enough apart. You know, like when there's a Pudge or Mirana in the game, and let's say like the hook or arrow you 5 minutes in, and then 20 minutes later they do it again, and you just blanked and they were there.
I see. Yeah, I don't feel like that's supposed to happen to you. Not if you're playing this game as, you know, as a job.
Yeah. That would make you feel a bit like a pleb. Oh, if Cyber Legacy don't know this one's going on, they're going to be feeling a bit of plebism because Omegalil are looking to get their hands on the first Aegis. And reminder, this is the type of hero in this lineup that uses it well. As Sunlight would love to just dive deep. They do know, though. Well, they have to have some inclinations, right? Magical's pressuring bot, there's no response. They're all dangling near the Roche bit. There it is.
Yeah, they're aware. They're gonna go in here. The question is whether is Brew gonna get a split off.
Oh, no, I don't know if they are. The Stack Storm's going to go down to 3. The X is going to be committed as well. You want to try and buy some time for Sunlight. Aegis has been picked up by Kellen, but the kill was achieved by Cyber Legacy, and the kills will be achieved onto Omegalil. Rubik gets stunned up on the spot as well, is brought down. They'll chase forward looking for more as Juggernaut comes back up into a mess. A few heroes short of a team. Forced to fight, in fact. Omni Slash to the other side of the fight. Blade through away. Nice Fiend's grip onto the Nature's Prophet to control him up. Make sure they can't pursue to finish off Kellen. Well, they will be able to find the kill into Diarara. He dies, so his carry doesn't have to. However, in the pit, Malik is looking for vengeance here. With his split still running, it won't be good enough. They kill off the Brewlings, and they keep Magical alive.
Yeah, that was a dieback by the Brew as well, so setting him back quite a bit. And yeah, I mean, you see what happens. You give Morphling to Kuman, get an Ultra kill.
You did predict this at the start. I mean, you warned them. You warned us all. And this is going to very quickly start turning the Kuman show. Like, we gave it a stew. We said, yep, you got a Juggernaut who's going for a defusal, but now look how stunned he's been on his way towards that. And then compared to Kuman, who's already can, you know, more or less get the Eagle Song and, well, just 1,000 gold now.
Yeah, so I feel like this the idea of going Roche here, I think it's not the best idea. I think it's okay. Like you can pull it off, but I think their positioning was kind of off if they want to do this. I think you need to put a hero in front of this. You need to have a hero that's gonna feed, right? And this should be whatever hero has buyback, I mean, of course not the Storm or the Jug, but you know, Rubik, Bane, or Rue, and one of these heroes has to kind of run in and make sure that they can't just run in and get this 3-man static Storm off that happened, and which led to Storm dying, Jug being forced to pick up the Aegis, etc. So you need to have a hero kind of blocking this type of play, breaking a smoke, etc. that can then buy back and rejoin the fight.
Well, that's kind of the peculiar part, right? Malik kept dipping in and out of the pit. Instead of them just committing a ward so that he could hide and use the split, he ended up getting stuck in the static storm, which happens exactly again in the bot lane this time. And they'll even glimpse Bane away from the lane so they can keep on pushing this catapult if they want to.
And they wasted their glyph already. There's gonna be soon an Ethereal Blade coming out on the Morph. And the Brew he's gonna be more or less a non-factor now in this game. He's basically just turned into a support at this point.
No, his time is more or less done. And Magical's not the easiest kill now that he has the BKB, so it's not like you can rely on your Storm Spirit jumping in, instantly silencing and like taking him out of the fight.
Yeah, your target is not really the Nature's Prophet at this point, I think. Potentially, if you're Juggernaut, you can Omni-Slash him if he's isolated, which he kind of shouldn't be, considering that he has treants, etc. I think you kind of want to try to kill the Morphling in this game. You have a lot of different ways of controlling him. Even though he has the Manta, there's Grip, there's a Lift, you know, there's Juggernaut just hitting him a few times. He's gonna have his Diffusal flying out right now. So
yeah, if anything, the prioritization for Omegalil in this next fight should be to get rid of the support combo. Like, if you just got a preview at the pit as to why you have to give all the attention to Slayer and Bignum.
yeah, and I feel like that's not really supposed to happen. You know, a Disruptor, when you're 1-2k behind like they were at that Roche attempt, you're not supposed to be able to get a 3-man static storm into, you know, a bunch of other spells. It's kind of a mistake on their part.
Well, let's see if they can get rid of one of the spellcasters now, because this has caused a split for the side of Cyber Legacy when Storm went bot onto the Phoenix. They're trying to rotate heroes back now, and all of a sudden, it looks like Omegalil might quickly end up outnumbered. Rolling Thunder through. Blizzy makes sure that there can't be a spell steal this time. Shotgun on the Happy Diorara, getting him low. Need one more hit to finish him off. The Thunder Strike will be a good. Looks like the rest of Omegalil did get out, though, so you kind of got to be content with that, considering you went from outnumbering to immediately outnumbered.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of because Magical was a little bit slow on the Orchids there. He kind of poured it in, and he tried to sprout the Rubik at first before using Orchids on him. I think they could have ended up with another kill there, but it's not the end of the world.
No, it's more you're just repelling them back to their side of the map. Like, you are at the stage where now, as Cyber Legacy, if the game was to go in kind of a tranquil farm state for another 10 minutes or so, your Morphling is at a stage where you could carry the game.
Yeah, Morphling definitely doing well right now. I'm curious to kind of see here. It looks like Juggernaut is queuing up a Skadi here. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of this. I feel like I would have liked to see something along the lines of Abyssal or Butterfly. Just Abyssal, just so he's able to get on top of a lot of these heroes, or just Butterfly so he's kind of able to carry harder.
You can kind of feel that pressure coming in from the Morphling now at this stage, right? Like, we already saw that Malik had to divert his build and go and get the Spirit Vessel, but now that you're having to commit to the Skadi as well, it really feels like they are giving ample respect to Kuma's Morphling, as you were bigging it up earlier. Maybe a bit too much.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too much. I mean, at this point, he still doesn't have, like, yeah, he has the Manta as a defensive item, and, you know, there's the Lotus Orb now on the Pango, but the Morphling can still die if he commits too much.
Well, we'll see who's going to die here, because there is a smoke coming out from Cyber Legacy towards this top lane. With Taz here, the kills might just be the bonus on top. Malik is backing up.
Malik has been suffering quite a bit this
Static
game.
Storm. He's going to be thrown under the bus again. Gets brought down. Sunlight goes in. He hasn't got much mana to work with, so he has to make something happen quick. Up onto the high ground, but this time they know it. It's usually the Omni-Slash does get one kill. So 1 for 1. Egg does go down. Kellen trying to get rid of it on his own. And it looks like he'll just about achieve it. However, now Kellen does need to retreat because he's already used that Omni-Slash. He has no way to protect himself anymore. The Blade Fury is still on cooldown, still moving. Turns out Rolling Thunder is very easy to dodge. However, the Adaptive Strike with the Shotgun, not so much. As Morph does get the kill. 2 for 2 exchange. But now it's going to be a third one. Vampire dragged back into the mess. Storm Spirit's on half mana, looking to get involved in the fight a little bit. He needs an easy target, though. Goes stranded Slayer, so it's going to be exchange again. Sunlight has got the mana to get out, so he'll be able to escape. The problem is Cyber Legacy have Kuma still alive, and he could push on this tower very easily.
Yeah, and a triple kill for Kuman in the end. The fight, they get the Prophet, they lose the Juggernaut. I would say it's a roughly even fight. The tower kind of makes it so that I think Cyber Legacy are a little bit on top of this. But I feel like this fight could have been a lot more clean. And we see here, Malik is just, he's in struggle city right now.
Yeah, it's a case of what can you build, what can you do. You know, you see him go over the Hood of Defiance, and this is more or less to try and just survive inside the Static Storm. But it's tough to see whether that's even going to be enough. Like maybe, like is there a Brett or Iron? Something, you just go straight BKB, or possibly something like a 4-star to try and get out.
Yeah, at this point, it's kind of difficult to know what to do, I think. He could go for something along the lines like a pipe, try to protect his teammates from this E-Blade, maybe himself. It looks like he's queuing up the BKB, so he still wants to just be able to survive that and kind of use the split. But when you're at this point, you know, it's so easy for the Morphling to just kill when you split, to just kill all the splits. So you have to be concerned about that too.
I do like that he's identified the pipe maybe isn't the right call at this stage, because this Hood of Defiance, it's hard to see it keeping him alive definitively. And if you're the first casualty, like your pipe value is maybe diminished because you're the one initiated on, and usually the team's a bit split at that stage. Usually because when you got heroes like Sunlight, Storm Spirit, you don't feel like you have to be in close proximity to respond.
Right. And we see also Juggernaut here decided to pick up a Blink Dagger, and while I do think that Blink Dagger can definitely be a very nice item on Juggernaut in certain games, I think ideally when you pick up this item, you kind of want to be a bit more ahead. I think the idea is nice that you can find, you can find the Nature's Prophet potentially, or some of the supports, and just pick them off with your Omnislash, Diffusal, etc. But I feel like at this point you need to be in a mind where at some point you're gonna have to be the one kind of fighting this Morphling, because if no one keeps this Morphling in check, he has the Paladin Sword, he has Lincoln Sphere, and if none of these heroes actually can deal with the Morphling, he's just gonna completely he's gonna continue to just dominate you in all these fights.
You can kind of see that right now. Look how on fire his portrait is. It kind of sets the mood here. He's only died once in this entire game. That was right at the beginning.
Kuman's on fire, man.
How can you even be on fire when you're water?
Don't ask questions when you don't want to know the answer.
You're right.
You're not ready for this. You know.
I shouldn't go down this hole. Last time we asked these sort of questions, we got that weird thing with Brewmaster where Cinderbrew could only proc on fire-based spells.
Yeah, it's like what do you get when you divide by 0, or when you there are some things, some questions they're not supposed to be asked.
I mean, you said it, now I'm thinking about it, and all I'm getting is a hurt brain. I'm like, what do you get when you divide by 0? Do you know?
Oh.
Okay, so
nobody.
You want to? Okay. Whoa, nobody. That's a strong statement like that. I mean, do you know everybody?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. In that case, fair point. Right. How is everybody feeling in this game, right? Like, right now, if you're Omegalil, how are you weighing up their chances? Like, without looking at Dota Plus, because we don't trust the robots. That's how Skynet occurs.
I think this Roche fight will kind of determine what happens in this game.
That's a good start to the Roche fight for Omegalil.
Yeah, very nice
right now.
dodge.
BKB is on BKB. Sunlight is caught pretty deep and getting low on HP. Needs to actually be careful about this because they might turn on moment with Omnislash coming through. It's not really doing a lot here though, and the egg does go down, and Kellen, he can't even attack it. He just has to retreat. So chase forward, Malik trying to buy some time with that Brewmaster split. Blizzy chased through the wrong front of a happy Tararara. Okay. That is like a car stopping right in front of your face. They will use the stolen Static Storm, throwing it down, and the rolls through from Blizzy are looking good. Final lot of time buyback comes out from the Bane, though. And on the side, Malik is separated from the rest of his team, and they don't have any way to get close to him. Kellen, without an Omnislash to work with anymore, doesn't feel confident to take a fight. He just goes back to hitting creeps. And Malik will die. So that's going to be the buyback, not really achieving anything on the Bane. And what looked like an alright start for the side of Omegalil after that Static Storm didn't achieve what they wanted. You thought maybe Omegalil could do something, but now Cyber Legacy got him by the gonads.
Yeah, and I feel like this is something. It's not just necessarily because of this blink dagger on the Juggernaut, but it's kind of because they're so far ahead, and that's also why I didn't like the blink dagger that much, because I feel like when you're this far behind, like, you need to have damage on this Juggernaut. Like, you saw him, he blinked into a really good position and he got his ult off, but it kind of accomplished nothing, you know. He's just bouncing around there and he's not dealing enough damage. There's an AC on the Prophet, there's some Glimmer Cape, Pango's kind of tanky, Morphling's tanky. He's just not dealing enough damage. Halberd on the Phoenix with 2.7 HP. You need more damage right now.
Yeah, it felt like a mild tickling. It reminded me of one of those moments you get in those pub games where someone's like, maybe they're on a task, or the old Ag Sniper where it was like on your assassinate damage, they're just building Divine Rapiers. Like, well, I can kill one person, but the moment I use my ult, I have nothing left to contribute to the fight. And that's exactly where this Jug is at right now. Unless he finds, say, a Disruptor on the other side of the map alone, and then he can Manta Diffuse the kill.
Yeah, something along those lines.
That's never really occurring. Sunlight. I have a death occurring here. That's just enough of the ball lightning to get him away. However, Nature's Prophet can TP across. He's got the Sprout. It's like Sunlight will not be getting out, even with that Corn Blade. And
yeah, I mean, he could have BKB'd the BKB'd the Glimpse, but
gotta be greedy.
Wanted to be greedy, and it did not pay off.
And, you know, if he had buyback, I'd understand it, but he's 20 gold off. Oh, Fiend's Grip coming out to Omegalil, locking him on the spot, but they're not dealing with Kuma right now. Omeslash bouncing around in all the wrong places. The egg does go down defensively, but Kellen now has to run away. He gets bashed up, though, by the Omegalil, and they'll move in. They'll kill off the Jug. They'll bring him down, and all of a sudden, the split from Malik. We already mentioned how pathetic it feels at this stage when you're behind, but look how quickly they just burn through the brew pieces. Only Storm's remaining, and he can't do anything. Now, your base belongs to Cyber Legacy.
Yeah, all of a sudden they just lose their 2 cores. There are still Aegis on the Morphling. They're gonna get this top racks. They could potentially go in towards the tier 4s, or they could go to the bottom lane.
Okay, they're gonna back away here, or are they? Oh, Malik. Poor Malik. What did I say before? Thrown under the bus? Thrown under the 18-wheeler at this stage, I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what's worse, you know? It's like thrown under the
train.
The train, yeah, thrown under the skyscraper. I don't know, man, but he's definitely down there right now.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
At this point, his whole team's been thrown under the whale that is Kuman. And this repair kit is achieving very little against this Morphling at this stage. Oh, no, the Static Storm! Sunlight is able to BKB and move away, but that was not the ideal situation. Cyber Legacy might just take the entire base now.
Yeah, I don't really think that there's much they can do regardless of the Storm having BKB or not at this point.
Almost Static Storm.
They might be able to get the Aegis out here.
But that should be it. That should be Cyber Legacy able to leave now. Kuman, Linkers gets popped, but he's out. So, all right, you guys got some fight left in you. We'll get that out of you soon. We'll line it over on a magical. BKB has to stand and fight. Eats the cheese. Egg goes down. Kellen's overcommitted now, and he knows he no one slash for 20 seconds either. They just need to get out. But the wrong thunder from Blizzy is going to connect onto Kellen. The glimpse back is going to be there under the primary target, which is that Juggernaut. And he's still found a secondary under Malik here. No split for 10 seconds either. With the Nature's Prophet showing up, they can get him in time. Bane is going to die to Kuman in the mid lane in the meantime. And his TP out attempt by Malik will just about succeed. He makes it out barely, though. He's able to heal up enough before he dies to the Orchid, but they don't care. They know it's over. GG, game 1. Cyber Legacy have it in their hands.
Yeah, what looked like could be a good game for Omegalil turned very quickly there at that Roche fight.